Jennifer Beal, Jeremy Allen White, Jennifer Lopez, Chris Hemsworth, Kim Kardashian, Colton Underwood. These are all the tight ends that will bring you to tiers. But we're talking tight end tiers in Dynasty Fantasy Football. And we're making our flag plants right now. Producer, hit that button. Welcome to another edition of your favorite fantasy analysts' favorite Dynasty show, the Dynasty Pulse, right here on Fantasy Sports Advice Network and other places that we shan't get into. I'm Biggs. With me is Grindberg. We got Mad Dog in the house. Schultze on the ones and twos. Shev is on the way. We have breaking news. Deebo Samuel has re-signed on a one-year deal with the San Francisco 49ers, which when you're watching this in 2 days, today, right now, you will already have known this. So I don't know why I said that. How are you guys doing?
Well, that makes my Dijon Stribling take a little less fruitful now, I guess. But
hey, it just torpedoed my whole beginning of this show.
It totally did, yeah. And the last one, it just crushed our 49ers' luck. But we'll see here. Love it for Deebo Samuel. And if you are telling me the truth, this is shocker news to me. Good stuff. Did it really happen? Are you
it just came over the wire.
Mm-hmm. No kidding, hey? All right, then.
The proverbial wire.
Way to go, Biggs. Throw me off to start, and we're ready to go. It is tight end tier time, and the tiers are flowing. We had some tiers last week. We had tiers the week before, and ready to go again here. And how you doing, Schultze?
Oh, fantastic. I honestly, I wasn't sure. I had to go check for myself about Deebo, and I'm scrolling Twitter. I haven't seen it yet, so Biggs might still be lying. I'm just kidding. I Twitter searched Deebo, and he's right. And Rappaport said it. It's true.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because the first notification
is I see it. Jeez Louise. Let's go. All right. It is happening. Deebo back to San Francisco. Well, I got a lot of Deebo shares in Dynasty still kicking on the back end. So, this is the I guess the geriatric 49ers now. And we're going to have to see what happens. The injured and often injured, often old here. So let's go. All right, let's get into this. Let's do this flag plants. All right, we're going to get into our tight end flag plants of the year. And Biggs, let's get you started off with yours, who, like you said, may not look as great now.
Yeah, so Jake Tonges, he was in line, especially with the Ricky Pearsall injury that the 49ers came out and said he probably wasn't going to be productive in 2026. And also George Kittle trying to get himself back on the field. Jake Tonges was in line to acquire a whole bunch of target deficit, and he had small little breakouts last year where when he was targeted, he had pretty big games. It is a highly efficient offense. Brock Purdy is a highly efficient quarterback. I talked about it on the fantasy forecast yesterday, so I know most of you watched that and had my take. But yeah, he was in line, and now with the news that Deebo Samuel is in the mix. Deebo Samuel's always been a guy who's kind of worked in the middle of the field, and that kind of takes a little bit of the shine off of Jake Tonges. So I'm doing a pivot. I'm calling an audible, and I am going with Kenyon Sadiq as my flag plant. So this is a kid who absolutely shined at the combine this year. He was already being talked about really, really nicely throughout his last season at Oregon. Everybody talked about his hyper athleticism, how good a target he was, and then he has a huge combine and then gets drafted by the New York Jets, who have a dearth of targets to go around. Geno Smith is in action. They have Garrett Wilson, who, when healthy, 17-game season, should be in the 150 target range, and not a lot of stuff after that. Now, they did go and draft Mason Taylor last year, but it looks like he's going to be more of a big body inline guy because Kenyon Sadiq is basically a wide receiver. So if you have a rookie who has high draft capital, who is super, super athletic, who basically plays as a wide receiver, as a big slot guy, and there aren't many people to take away targets from him, because Garrett Wilson can share. I mean, he can get his 150 targets, and there's still, 350, 400 targets to go around, depending on how productive the offense is. Kenyon Sadiq is my flag plant. Make sure that you get him in dynasty drafts. He should be in startups. He should be going around number 138, tight end 21. That's definitely an affordable spot for him, especially if he has a rookie breakout, the likes of which we've seen from hyper athletic guys like Kyle Pitts and Brock Bowers. We've seen it from Sam LaPorta, and last year Harold Fannin and Oronde Gadsden the second. So grab Jake Tonges at his value, or if he slips a little past his ADP, but make sure that you're grabbing Kenyon Sadiq in your rookie draft. If you don't have a first round pick, you might not get him, but if he lasts to you at the turn, go ahead and grab him in that rookie draft if you haven't done your rookie draft yet, like some of my leagues. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Anybody? Who good pivot, last minute pivot there. I mean, some news just shattering here, and yeah.
No, I think it's great. Like, you look at Jake Tonges, and when he was asked to come into action for George Kittle, Kyle Shanahan schemed it up that Jake Tonges was the number one target for that 49ers offense. So I really like this move because, us as dynasty managers and myself as George Kittle, bag holders basically are hoping that he is going to hit the ground running in week one, but I don't think he's going to. I think this is a great pivot to Jake Tonges. And as for Kenyon Sadiq, I think it's still great value in startups. And like Big said, it's wide open after Garrett Wilson. So I don't think you can go wrong taking a shot on an athletic player like Kenyon Sadiq. We saw Mason Taylor last year. I think he only had one broken tackle the whole season. Like, that's not what you want from a playmaking tight end. So yeah, Kenyon Sadiq for me is a great choice.
I did make an error. I did not refer to him as California Golden Bears legend Jake Tonges.
I don't even know who you are anymore.
Yeah, we're not even friends.
Len Larson!
Len Larson, yes.
All right, we're back.
I'm back.
All right, we're gonna we'll get back to see if Shev can make it in, but let's skip his and I guess get into Mad Dogs. Talk a little bit about your tight end that you got a little bit of flag plan on.
All right, let's talk about this player that's probably broken more dynasty managers' hearts than anybody else over the past few years, and that is Kyle Pitts. Are we doing it again? Yeah, I haven't jumped ship yet, so I might as well stay aboard. Every offseason we tell ourselves this is the year. Every offseason we try to build up that hype, and we're disappointed. But hear me out. Kyle Pitts is only 26 years old, and just think about that for a second. He's been in the league for 5 years already. So in tight end age, it kind of seems like he's not even hit his stride. He's still progressing, and he's still got years before he gets to his prime. Last year, 118 targets, just shy of 1,000 yards, and he scored 5 touchdowns. Now, is he the player that we called generational when he was coming into the league? No, but is he a complete disaster? I don't think so. This is what really grabbed my attention with Kyle Pitts. 23 catches against man coverage last season. That was the most among tight ends. That really tells me something. I think he's learned how to use that 6'6" frame for separation, for leverage. I think we saw in the earlier years, he was getting pushed around. He's really starting to learn how to use that leverage. Now, let's add in Kevin Stefanski coming to this Falcons offense. I think Kevin Stefanski's track record is pretty good. He's already said he wants to move Kyle Pitts all around the formation. He sees him as a very versatile player. Stefanski has gotten fantasy production from tight ends with the track record of Kyle Rudolph, David Njoku, and Harold Fannin Jr. Target competition. Obviously, Drake London and Bijan Robinson are going to eat, but there's really nobody after those two targets. I think Kyle Pitts can be third in line, and he can get his. Maybe he can get to double-digit touchdowns. I know he's only gotten 1 touchdown every single season, one more touchdown than the previous season. But I think we can really see him take a big step here. You have Tua and Penix, who I don't really have a lot of faith in, but I think they're going to dump the ball off more. And if Bijan isn't open in the flat, Kyle Pitts is going to be that big target for potentially inaccurate Penix and Tua.
Yeah, fan of this call.
Yeah, I took a shot on Pitts last year, and I was not displeased.
Yeah. He's a top 5 tight end last year across the board, and everything you want. Targets, like air yards, receptions, receiving yards, yak, like air yard share, design targets. Like all these stats show he's a top 5 tight end. But the thing I love is they figured out, hey, the way we used to use this guy wasn't quite working. Let's dial this ADOT back a little bit. We pulled it back to 7.4 yards, which is 11th in the league for tight ends. So like there's the one dip. But what that did was spurred everything else to become way more effective. And I think they're going to keep rolling them out that way. And this is going to work.
Yeah. I mean, the one question mark I have and the pushback would be the quarterback situation here. And you kind of laid it out for us there. So I'm okay with this call for sure. I think he's got a lot of upside. He's still very young. And we got to look back at that, right? He's burned us year and year and year after year. So what makes you think that? So you make a really good case for him. I am going to pick him in the spots. I have him in Dynasty when I needed to get a value or scoop up a tight end that I know is going to be there, but he may not be that elite prospect that he came out of the gate becoming. So some question marks, but still a very good call here. I'm on you here there, Mad Dog. Biggs?
Can I just say real quick that maybe he didn't disappoint. It was Arthur Smith that disappointed, and quarterback play when Arthur Smith left that disappointed until last year when it kind of stabilized a little bit. Just saying.
Yeah, I think that's a really fair point.
Now quarterback play and a new coaching staff. There's so many question marks here. I can't, you know, like, and I'm just being the devil's advocate. I like Kyle Pitts here, but we got a brand new coaching staff, right? And then quarterback situation has question marks. So
Cooper Rush might be starting. That's Kyle Pitts tight end 1 all year long.
There you go.
And one other thing to all this, guys, that I had on the bottom of my notes was Kyle Pitts had a PCL injury that it kind of seemed like they wanted to not necessarily hide from everybody, but downplay it. And we're seeing more PCL injuries affecting more players in the NFL, almost more so than ACLs, because they opt to not get surgery on this PCL. So I think it's now 2 years removed from this. And I think we're just going to see more maturation and growth from Kyle Pitts.
All right.
Yeah. And let's not forget that male humans reach their physical peak at 27 years old. So he hasn't even hit like the peak of his physical abilities yet.
Neither have I.
Wild.
All right there, Shelty, you're up now and talk about your Fannin.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Fannin, and I feel
Fannin
like
fans unite.
Yes, I don't understand why as a community we've kind of just capped this guy as this was his ceiling and he's never going to go beyond this. When you look at so tight end in the NFL, we've talked all the time. It is an extremely difficult transition for rookies. This is one of the hardest positions in the league to step in as a rookie, learn a new NFL offense, become an instant impact player for your team. It's not the most common thing. So with that being said, there's a list of dudes who have earned 100 targets as a rookie as tight ends, and that list is Brock Bowers, Jeremy Shockey, Sam LaPorta, Evan Ingram, Tyler Warren, Kyle Pitts, and Harold Fannin. So that's a list of 7 dudes. And there's not, Evan Ingram is your biggest bust on that list. And we had a few seasons there where a lot of injuries derailed that early, but we saw that potential flash there too. So there's a list of dudes who have earned 100 targets as a rookie tight end, and that's a pretty dang good list of guys to be on. I understand the offense struggled, and there was a lot kind of forced his way. There wasn't a ton going on. But I don't care. We're looking at a dude who had a 100 percentile college dominator 91st percentile breakout age at 19.1. So very similar to Kyle Pitts there, that super early breakout age. And last year, he was 7th in tight end among design targets, 7th tight end on first read targets, 5th in first read target share. We've got a rookie tight end who the offense is giving him the ball. They're designing plays for him. There's nothing about what Harold Fannin has done that tells me this is the ceiling. You look at the college dominator, you look at the breakout age, you look at he steps into the NFL and makes this instant impact, forces himself on a list of 100 targets of a bunch of other successful tight ends. Why is this the ceiling? All this dude has done is charted up, and he's proven himself, every level so far. So why are we just capping him out at that's where he's at? I think there's a real path that he is the leading target getter on this team this year. We don't know what to expect fully from those rookie wide receivers. And for a guy who just put up a tight end 6 season with 100+ targets, why can't he be the number 1 target getter on this offense?
I don't know who this we is. Also, right now you sound like Jamie Pirog, just the tone of your voice. The only drawback with the dominator rating and breakout age that I had pre-draft was that he did it at Bowling Green while Kyle Pitts did it at Florida.
Oh, totally.
But 106 targets as a rookie completely blew that out of the water. So, Harold Fannin all day. Plus, we know his family.
Oh, for sure. And right out of the gate here, he's going to be the target hog until, Denzel Boston and Casey Concepcion can really gain their traction and maybe even weed out Jerry Jeudy at that stage. So Harold Fannin is probably going to lead that team in targets in my assessment of this, no matter whom is the quarterback there. I think that's the safety valve. And I think this is the great call there, Schultz. I think he's going to be hyper targeted and lead that offense in targets throughout the whole season and not just right out of the gate. So yeah,
I don't think it's crazy to say just this season. Like, I don't think it's necessary to say he leads the team in targets for years.
Yeah, no, I think I think I like Casey Concepcion. I think he's gonna be awful. You don't draft a slot wide receiver in the first round if you don't have monster plans for him, and he could play outside. I think he's gonna earn those targets. I think he's gonna be the dog once they find a quarterback, and that would be my assessment. That'd be my pushback there, and I think.
I think that's the plan. I just think that. I think Harold Fannon's good enough, athletic enough, solid enough football player that's a real possibility.
Yeah. The only thing that I would say is in redraft terms, let's look at the rookie versus second year results of Kyle Pitts, Sam LaPorta, Brock Bowers. What did they do the next year? Dalton Kincaid, very similar.
Right.
Like they had huge peaks as a rookie, and then second year there was a little bit of an adjustment period. So the only thing I would be scared about with Harold Fannin, but in Dynasty, I'm absolutely all in on him because he's a long-term asset, just like Kyle Pitts. This is Kyle Pitts 5-6 years ago.
You bet, love it. All right,
without
I guess
all the hype,
right? Except from us.
All right, let's get into my guy then, I guess. And so for me, why is that a wah-wah?
I'm just kidding.
What does that mean? You don't like Tyler Warren? For me,
he's fine.
I think he's the kind of cornerstone you build around without hesitation.
Sure.
I mean, look at him. He handed the former Penn State product first-round draft capital. There you go.
You love him so much you traded him to me.
I did, and that's okay. I mean, I traded a whole lot to you. It don't matter. I'm a draft and develop kind of guy. So 6'4" or 6'6", actually 256, size, speed, hands, savvy, route running, and I think that with the receiving core reshaped after the team paid Alec Pierce and shipped Michael Pittman Jr. off to the Steelers. This is the perfect moment that cements himself as a weekly must-start option, no matter what. Plug and play tight end with, top 3 upside, in my opinion. I think he's a great play this year. And if you're chasing long-term stability at the position, this is what we define by the volatility. I'm locking him in right now. The opportunity is real. The talent is proven. The Colts offense is primed for a tight end to become the ultimate safety valve. And I think Warren he fits that description. Alec Pierce, he's going to begin this season, on the pup, especially training camp at least. And I think they're going to rely on Tyler Warren right out of the gate, especially since, Daniel Jones is, recovering from that Achilles injury. I know he's fully cleared, but the environment, the big body target who can win underneath, settle into soft zones, and give recovering quarterback an easy outlet becomes invaluable. And I just think that he's shown that football IQ, physical tools to handle the exact assignments during his first year, and the departure of Pittman only widens the path. Dynasty players who undervalue the combination of that draft pedigree and everything that he brings to the table, I think is a huge miss here. Rookie target share of 19%, second on the Colts, 22% first read share. I love what I see here, only behind Pittman, and I think he left behind over 23% targets last year. So a lot of targets to gobble up here. Finished as tight end 11 points per game, tight end 7 at 13 points per game when Daniel Jones was healthy, ranking 4th among 10 ends in yards after the catch per reception. So everything to me leads to an exceptional season, way more target opportunity, a healthier quarterback, and Tyler Warren could be the black horse to finish as a tight end 1 overall. So I wouldn't discount that. And he's in a tier on his own, in my opinion. He's floating out there at this stage. I would put him with somebody else, but currently he's being on his own island here at tight end 4. So I love me some Tyler Warren.
Allow me to translate from the Canadian for our American viewers. Black horse means dark horse.
Yeah, I think Tyler Warren, this is a great flag plant. I think the Colts offense is going to go as far as Tyler Warren and Jonathan Taylor take this team. He's versatile. We saw him use the backfield. We saw him in line. We saw him out wide. I think he's going to be the most stable piece with this Alec Pierce injury. People are really starting to steam up Josh Downs, but I would rather put my money on Tyler Warren over Josh Downs. The one concern that I have is I don't know why the Colts stopped using Tyler Warren in second half of games. It seemed like they hyper target him in the first half of games, and then they kind of just let JT have it in the second half. But if they can learn how to use him for 4 quarters, he can put up a monster season this year.
One of the things about NFL head coaches that I found, or at least play callers, is they think they're smarter. They're too clever for their own good. So like when they do something where like the entire country goes, why are they doing that? It's because they think they're ahead of the curve. Meanwhile, the obvious thing to do is what they're not doing because it's too obvious and they're trying to be clever.
Yeah. Well, hopefully
it makes too much sense to target Tyler Warren in the second half. Why would we do that? Everybody's looking for it.
Yeah. Too clever for their own minds. All right, boys, let's do this. Let's get into the next segment here, and that's getting these tiers in order here. So I guess I'm going to pull up this draft board, and we're going to start with tier 1. And Biggs, you're first on the dot. We've played this game before. We did it with the rookies. We've done it over the last little while, and I think this is a no-brainer for my boy. And Biggs is going to go with Brock Bowers at number 1, if I'm not mistaken.
He ate my pizza. Top tier Biggs's pizza eater right there.
There it is. All right. Talk a little bit.
Nobody does anything on the field the way that Brock Bowers does. He blocks with absolute ferocity. He's a crisp route runner. He's a matchup nightmare for cornerbacks who are on him. He's a matchup nightmare for linebackers who are on him. We saw what he could put on the field in his rookie season and in the second half of last season. And he's just absolutely elite. I don't want to say he's in a tier by himself because obviously McBride has outpaced him. Sorry, I forgot no table talk. But if we were to have just, a really short tier, he's got to be in it.
Yeah. I mean, he's the guy. I mean, I put a bet on last night's show on the IBT, sports betting show that is going to be airing this weekend on FSAN. And I put a call there that Brock Bowers is going to lead the league in receptions at 40-1. I think that's good odds to roll your dice on this guy. I think he's going to have an historic season here. I think this is going to be the exceptional thing. And yeah, I'm locking this in for sure as well with you, Biggs. Anybody else?
Good Lord. If you take that 40-1 bet, put $1 on it, and then take our 60-1 bet from Fantasy Forecast, put $1 on that, that's $2 and you win 100.
Incredible.
Or you parlay them. I don't think you can parlay words.
All right, I'm gonna go with my guy here, guy that kind of gave me some steam in this industry, and that's my boy Trey McBride. And I was one to even derail his train this offseason because of quarterback uncertainty. But I mean, as the tight end too, that's a comfortable situation for me based off of his previous performances. Last year was the touchdown regression in his favor. Incredible season, especially down the stretch when Jacoby Brissett took over as the quarterback for the Cardinals. Now what we see here is him continuing on, but there are some question marks about where they head, at the back end of this season. But, the Cardinals, if anything, are going to be in shape to get a star quarterback in this draft if they, do turf this year, which many people think they do. So Trey McBride still going to be elite, especially in the first half, might trail off a bit in the second, but next year we know that they're going to have somebody, shooting the balls to him. So let's go Trey McBride, tier 1.
They just signed Brissett to an extension. There's no quarterback question in Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, if the wheels derail, they're going to want to see what they have in Carson Beck near the end of the season. It's an automatic thing here. So I don't see them riding Brissett the whole season if the season is not salvageable. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
All right. Who's up next? I think it's Mad Dog, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Mad Dog, are you continuing on this tier?
No, I'm going to go to tier 2.
Boom.
And that is going to be Colson Loveland for me to start off tier 2. We saw the breakout at the end of the year. In his final 4 games, he was targeted 48 times, reeling in 28 of those catches, just about 400 yards, 2 touchdowns. I don't think that our job is kind of to predict the future. I don't think that's a sustainable pace heading into this season, but he is going to be the focal point of this Bears offense. You can argue about Luther Burden. You can argue about Roma Dunze. I think Colson Loveland is going to be the next superstar in this league in the next tier with Brock Bowers and Trey McBride when we're talking about this next off season. But Colson Loveland started the season off slow. He came in pro ready from Michigan. He can stay in line. He can block. He has a vast route tree. I just think that he's going to be an easy button target for Caleb Williams. We saw what Ben Johnson had done with Sam LaPorta, his track record with tight ends as well. That's why I think Colson Loveland is full steam ahead and could potentially surpass one of Bowers or McBride for fantasy points this season.
Love it. I have no issues with this call whatsoever. I like the tier break personally. I think that's the great tier break, and I'm all for this call. Anybody else? Any objections here?
No.
Love it. All right, double tap this there, Schultze. What do you got on the docket for us?
Well, give me Fannin because that's my flag plant. I already talked about him. And I'm going to go for Warren for the other one. I know you talked about him, but the thing I love here is everything. I mean, talent's there, but the competition here, man, this is the unquestioned number 1 dude in this receiving threat in this offense. And I don't see them doing anything about that for a while. And like Mad Dog mentioned, if they figure out the usage a little better here when it was already good, there's so much untapped from Tyler Warren, and that's pretty crazy to say.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm almost willing to, I would say that tier 2 would be this would be my personal opinion, would just be Warren and Loveland, because I'm still so worried about what's happening in Cleveland. But I'm okay with him being in here.
I would support that. I would almost want to go a tier break here because I have a player that I'm going to be calling out next that would be more similar to Fannin with some question marks than he is Loveland and Warren.
Well, I think we can all agree that these three have the biggest upside of last year's rookie class, and they would be in a tier by themselves. And if you're in a dynasty startup and you're looking at grabbing young guys that are going to be productive over the course of the next 5 to 10 years, I think these three like kind of stand alone. I would put Kyle Pitts in this tier too, just because of his upside and my thing of the next five years. I agree that he doesn't belong with these three because they're rookies.
I'm also thinking Tucker Kraft needs to be in this tier.
I'm fine with Kraft here.
So that's my play. Is either Kraft has to be in here, or you have to put Harold Fannin in tier 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I would say Loveland and Warren would be my tier 2, and I'm going to flatline this based off of us talking this out. So for me, I'm using a flat line, and I'm going to say I want Colson, Loveland, and Tyler Warren to be tier 2 alone, and then I would put the Harold Fannin, Pitts, and then Kraft discussion. We could keep that going. Who's with me on that? Anybody with me on that? If we could just tier break those top two.
No,
I picked it, so I'm standing on it.
I mean, I would go Tucker Kraft in here and then tier break.
Same.
But
Sure. Yep. I would
Tucker
concede
Kraft
to that.
and then tier break. Okay.
And I have to stand on this because I had Tucker Kraft on our show a couple of weeks ago where I took Kraft over Fannin, and I'll explain that again once you get the graphic up.
I mean, that was a couple of weeks ago. You can change your mind.
I have Kraft over Fannin for sure.
Mike's going to change his mind on Fannin eventually, so
I will not.
Okay. What are you, a Republican?
No, I just don't think I'm not buying in yet.
In light of new evidence, I don't think I'm going to shift my belief.
No, just the quarterback situation is complete dog shit, and I'm not buying into your boy Shadur Sanders or Deshaun Watson. So explain this to me. How I see talent, but an inline tight end.
He had 106 targets, and Shadur Sanders started most of the second half of the season.
Right, and I think that's very short-sighted for a 22-year-old.
Yes, Shadur Sanders was the 41st worst quarterback out of 42 total quarterbacks last year, and I have zero interest in Shadur Sanders starting a game ever, and he can't be better than Deshaun Watson. So I don't have and Harold Fannin was 106 targets with Shadur Sanders on the field, and Dylan Gabriel started some games, and their quarterback room was trash last year. It's not Joe Flacco didn't hold up Harold Fannin. Harold Fannin held up Harold Fannin, despite the quarterback situation.
All right. We'll agree to disagree here. You guys get this Fannin and Kraft in this tier, and I wholeheartedly disagree with this. I think those two should be in their own tier, and they're being drafted as so. So, 3 rounds later, we're seeing Harold Fannin and Tucker Kraft go in dynasty startups. So we're talking dynasty here. So why are these guys going so far later? Because
people believe narratives, not evidence.
No, drafters believe in what they draft, and that's what's happening.
That doesn't necessarily make them right 100% of the time.
Right.
All right.
Your argument is noted, Mike.
All right. I'm just saying 3 rounds later, and you guys are putting these guys in the same tier. I'm just saying. So let you guys do your thing. All right. Let's go to tier 3. We got Kyle Pitts in here now.
Yeah. Did we want to run over Tucker Kraft, or do we want to move right on to Pitts?
Oh no, talk Tucker Kraft real quick. You
Yeah.
said you were going to.
Well, Tucker Kraft. So 2 weeks of tight end 1, 44 targets in 8 games. I love his yak ability. I think he's the closest thing that we see to George Kittle. He makes that Green Bay offense go. We heard them talk about defining roles for their wide receivers, but Christian Watson, is he going to stay healthy? Jaden Reed, are we going to see him in 2 wide receiver sets? Is Matthew Golden ever going to be anything before he comes and joins the CFL? I don't think so. I think Tucker Kraft is the engine that makes that offense go, and that's why he needs to be in tier 2. I guess today, the way we have it.
Yeah.
All right. So you're putting Kyle Pitts here in tier 3 there, Mad Dog? That would be your choice?
I Tucker Kraft, so we're bigs. But yeah, I would put Kyle Pitts in tier 3.
Okay. So it'd be my pick, right? So if I were to pick somebody in tier 3, then so Pitts is still out there, right? Because no one picked him yet.
Correct.
Right.
But isn't he the turn, and so Mad Dog gets 2 picks?
No, it's Greinberg and then Biggs. You're the turn.
Yeah, you're the turn.
Never mind.
All right. I'm gonna go Sam LaPorta in tier 3. I really like what I saw in his rookie season. I don't think what we saw last year was any indication of where he's going to be headed, especially after he came out of that injury. You know, Drew Petzing is now the new offensive coordinator there, who likes to hyper target his tight ends. I know that there's some injury issues with Sam LaPorta's back. He's fully in camp right now, so you know, all wheels up, and I think that anytime you can get a hold of this Detroit Lions offense, that high-powered offense, you know, you can get a exceptional value. And you know, once one of those guys goes down with an injury, well, who's going to get there? Somebody else is going to take on target. So yeah, give me Sam LaPorta, even, you know, when everybody's healthy. But if there's an injury to somebody, wheels up. Sam LaPorta for sure for me is a tier 3 here.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's still a player that you don't have to worry on touchdown dependency to be able to slot into your roster. And we saw it last year with the Lions. Like, if Drew Petzing isn't pulling his weight as an OC, Dan Campbell is going to take over on that offense, and he's going to make sure that he runs the right plays. We have Jared Goff, who is probably one of the best game managers in the league, that'll be able to find Sam LaPorta. I agree with you. I don't think Sam LaPorta is what we saw last season pre-injury, but I don't think he can go and consistently hit his rookie season totals. So I'm fine with him in tier 3.
The crazy part here, man, though, is even before the injury last season, he was pacing more yardage than his rookie season. He was very touchdown dependent rookie year, and only came out with 800 something yards. In 9 games, he had 489. So over a 17 game sample, that's higher than 889. So I mean, I think the yardage lines up, and I think that lines up with what you're saying. He isn't entirely touchdown dependent. Now, the rookie season was boosted by that, which propelled him to tight end 1, right? But that he doesn't need that to be successful.
All right, Biggs, you're up here.
So if I'm not mistaken, Kyle Pitts is the elder statesman of our tiers so far, which is kind of wild because he's still just 26 years old. And it wasn't until mid to late 20s that tight ends used to break out. But our top 3 tiers so far have had all guys under 27 years old. But I'm going to throw a name out there that is going to cause some controversy. And I'm going to say that TJ Hockenson belongs in this tier. He's only 29 years old. And when you look at the 5 tight ends who are older than him that have traditionally showed up in the top 12 year over year, all of those guys are 30 or more. TJ Hockenson is still younger. Now, he had a bad year last year, bad quarterback play. And I've brought up before, if Kyler Murray is the starter in Minnesota, we know one thing about Kyler Murray, and he can hyper target his tight end. He created the Trey McBride phenomenon, and with a healthy TJ Hockenson, I think that TJ Hockenson can repeat that trend. He's still a really good tight end. He's still under 30 years old. We see from Travis Kelce at 37 years old, the traditional top tier tight ends, Gonzalez, Gates, Kelce, these guys can play quite a while into their 30s, and TJ Hockenson isn't even into his 30s yet. There are some other names that are out there that are older guys that we may see bigger years from than they had last year, but I think that TJ Hockenson belongs in this tier.
I'm out of flatline, so I can't even consider this. So you guys,
Your disagreement is noted.
Yeah,
this is ridiculous.
I think you have way more options than TJ Hockenson to be in tier 3. 2 down seasons. I understand that Kyler Murray created, Trey McBride. I just think that there's more options there. I think Justin Jefferson is going to have a massive bounce back season. I think Jordan Addison is another piece there. And I think Juwan Jennings can be more than a blocking wide receiver and be the third option there over TJ Hockenson. So I'll push back here when I go and look at players like Kyle Pitts, Sadiq, Gadsden, Stowers, George Kittle, Kincaid. I think there's probably 5 or 6 more tight ends that I would rather have than TJ Hockenson currently.
That's fair. The surprising thing is you'll throw in a name like Stowers, who hasn't played a game in the NFL yet. I get all that, but TJ Hockenson is a producer every single year, and there's going to be a bounce back. I like him. Even his age isn't even out of control as far as the tight end position. So I like it.
Schulte, what's your opinion here?
I'll flatline this one. I don't know if I'm on board here. I get the longevity stuff, and I get we've had some strong production in the past. He played almost a full season last year and earned 66 targets. Like we've got 2 good receivers already here. We just mentioned bringing in Juwan Jennings. I think there's too much there combined with the age stuff is a little concerning. I don't think I can get him in tier 3 yet. Or yet, not yet. I don't think I'll have him in tier 3.
All right. So is there a vote here? Who's got Hockenson in 3 here?
It's just me. You know that.
All right. Biggs, you have somebody else you want to put in tier 3?
Ferguson.
Jake Ferguson.
He's only 27 years old. Last year, he finished as tight end 5. In 2023, finished as tight end 9. He has 2 out of 4 years in his career. He has 2 top 10 finishes, including a top 5 finish. Dak throws him the ball.
I can get on board with this.
I'm on board with this one. We're all on board with this one.
That's crazy.
3 thumbs up. You got 3 of us with thumbs up. All right, you got one more pick here, Biggs.
No, I just did. One of them got flatlined.
Well, you get another one then.
Mulligan.
You get a mulligan. You get the.
I do want to point out that in his career, in his first 5 seasons, Hockenson had 3 top 5 finishes. But that's neither here nor there anymore. There really isn't anything more for me. It's just like, it's kind of like in Moneyball when he's like, there's blah, blah, blah. Then there's 10 feet of shit. And then there's us. Like, that's like the rest is
Kyle Pitts. Are you going to put Kyle Pitts in here? You don't like Kyle Pitts at all to put him in 3?
We should have had Kyle Pitts in earlier when we did.
No, he didn't make tier 2. So
no, he should. I saw his picture there. He should have.
Yeah, we took him out because I picked LaPorta over Pitts, and then so you like Kyle Pitts here?
We took Kyle Pitts out. No,
Kyle
Pitts.
Well, what happened is he automatically put it on because he thought he was about to get picked, and then he didn't.
Yeah, I think Kyle Pitts is behind Harold Fannin and Tucker Kraft, but he should be the first one in tier 3.
I agree with that.
I got LaPorta over Pitts. So
I think they're neck and neck. I mean, I don't got a problem either way there, and I think they lead tier 3. Yeah,
somebody's got an offensive complete problem there, and the other one's in an elite offense with an injury issue. So you just pick your poison there, and I'm going to go with the elite offense.
Fair.
And I'm not going to rely on Tua or Penix to lead the ship here. So.
What about
all right?
Rush?
All right, I guess it's me.
Mike's turn.
All right, is this a tier break for me?
I got one more I want in here.
Well, there's some young people that haven't really proven themselves. There's a guy in a new situation, and then there's the veteran that I'm going to sneak in here, and that's George Kittle. Because when he does play,
are you serious?
Yeah,
you're gonna put a 34-year-old man with coming off a bad Achilles tear, who probably won't start this season, whose career is on the downturn, over a guy who's still under 30 and has been productive his entire career.
Who's got injury history?
Cool. I'm done.
So you're flatlining it, Schulte?
I said I'm out of flatlines.
Yeah.
I flatlined Hockenson.
Yeah. Are you flatlining me here, Mr. Mad Dog? Biggs, are you flatlining me? Do you have a flatline?
No. Narratives over data is crazy work. I'm not doing anything.
All right. I'll take him out there because I don't want to.
Nobody's flatlining it, Mike. Put George Kittle in there.
All right. Well, I mean, when he's playing,
he's an historical tight end when he's on the field, just like some other people.
Well,
would be flatlined in tier 3 here.
All right. Well, Mad Dog, you're not flatlining this. You have the option here.
No, I'm not, because I'm looking at it through a dynasty lens as well. Like, even as an injured George Kittle is still worth more than TJ Hockenson. I think when George Kittle comes back from this Achilles, he's going to be more valuable to the 49ers team, and he's going to put up better numbers for us.
And I'm looking at where they're going in startups too, like 5-round differential from Kittle to Hockenson is substantial. So, the market's on it. And when he's in the lineup, like you mentioned, Biggs, he's crazy at what he does production wise. And I think that opens up this tier for a lot of guys, to be honest. Now, and maybe Hockenson does get in it now. Who knows? All right, who's next?
Mad Dog.
Should be me. I will go tier break.
Tier break. All right.
And this is somebody that I debated to have as my flag plant this year, and that was Dalton Kincaid. I liked him coming out of college. I think that he can still be, even with DJ Moore there, I think he can be the main piece. He needs to get on the field more for the Buffalo Bills, but when he is on the field, he's out there to catch passes. When you see Dalton Kincaid lined up, you know that the ball is going to him. He's efficient down the seam. He's a great route runner. He has great hands. That's why I'm going to take him at his value over the rookies we talked about. Aronde Gadsden was somebody else that I would talk about, but that's a full room there. So yeah, I'll have Kincaid here.
Yeah. So when I said I had one more guy I was willing to throw in 3, this was it. Like, I understand that there's projection behind me saying that, but like you said, I'm still a believer here. What we saw the rookie season, and then now moving forward, I think we're firmly the second target getter. I don't have many questions about that. And then they started using him deeper down the field last year. His yard per catch went up real big. So I think there's projection to be had to say we're ready for Dalton Kincaid to take another step. And I would have understood pushback on me saying I wanted him in tier 3, but I'm totally cool putting him here.
I like it here for sure. All right, Schulte, you got a double tap.
All right, so I'm gonna say Kenyon Sadiq has got to be here. I know there's a rookie here, but unlike Stowers, we're gonna be on the field day one, and we're gonna be on the field a lot. So give me Kenyon Sadiq in tier 4, even though he's a rookie. I feel good about that one there. And I think we're cool to put Gadsden here. I mean, we're down to tier 4, but we've got a 23-year-old with some real talent and a real shot on an offense that's going to score. So he's got to be in tier 4. And he proved it to us a little bit last year. Like, he really flashed. And so he's got to be here.
We got Shev in the house. What up, Shev?
Shev in the building.
Yo, buddy. Recovering from the Expo. We're gonna get your recap of this because we've had some pretty heated debates tonight. And
what's up, my Jamar Chase autograph brother?
Yeah. Biggs doesn't want to talk to me anymore. I don't know if we're friends. So
I have no problem talking to you, Mike.
I'm just bugging. How you doing, Shev?
See, I just did.
I missed you guys. I missed last week, and I'm here late tonight, but I'm glad to be here, and I see a lot of Shev GPT Meat Missile Mafia propaganda on the screen right now. So I'm pretty amped up. I'm not gonna lie.
Bricked up.
I can feel the blood rushing the unspeakables right now.
Just wait till we we're gonna get into your flag plant too, because we did definitely miss that. So you'll have some time to talk about your Tucker Kraft call. Let's just end this tier here. If there's anybody else we want to get in this tier, and then we can recap it, and then we can get Shev to do his flag plant before we end the show here, folks. Anybody else we need to get in this tier? Just to throw some names out here. Biggs, is this the time to put Hockenson in here?
No, he's washed.
Oh my!
You guys made it clear.
we made it clear when you tried to get him into tier 3. So
you tried to put him in tier. Oh, you sneaky dog! You always trying to sneak a thumb in there or something, bro. Start with the peak.
Welcome back to moving goalposts, Shev.
You know I'm coming in. You know I'm coming in on all nonsense, brother.
I love it. All right. Tier 4, there's a couple guys left that maybe we can mention here. Dallas Goedert, Eli Stowers, Isaiah Likely, Biggs' flag plant, Jake Tonges.
No, are you kidding?
Oh my God. I'm real sad that I'm just now able to join, because that is, if we've been slandering the name of Jake Tonges just because Biggs decided to make him his flag plant, that would I'm not gonna lie, that would make my day.
No, a lot of this came in after like Deebo Samuel gets signed, and it's all coming in live. The show got derailed real early.
I had Tonges as my flag plant, and then as we started, I got the notice that Deebo Samuel signed with the Niners, and it just all went up in flames. So I pivoted to Kenyon Sadiq.
That's
all right. That's flag plant. That's not the tier discussion.
All right, let's get into the tiers then, and let's give Shev the complete recap of the tiers, and we'll go back to tier 1. So this is how tier 1 went. It went Brock Bowers and Trey McBride. How do you like that tier?
I feel like a Viagra pill with a face. Let's go.
All right, this is tier 2. So my biggest concern here, I wanted Loveland and Warren on their own tier, and then make the rookies, the second year guys, a tier on their own. But this is how it ended.
Your guys are second year guys.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
Sorry.
I wanted to split this up a bit, but anyways.
Okay. No. Why'd you want to split it up?
Because I wanted Loveland and Warren in their own tier.
Why?
A lot of different reasons.
I'm asking you to maybe you can use a list.
All right. So Fannin, I'm really not excited about his quarterback situation.
Greinberg made a listicle.
All right.
So we're grossed out. We're grossed out by the quarterback situation with Fannin, which he put up. He's one of 9 tight ends to put up 700 yards.
I like what they did in the draft too, and I think that's going to further evolve. I love Casey Concepcion. I love Denzel Boston as a deep threat, and eventually they're going to quarterback. So I love Fannin this year as a hyper targeted guy for sure, and I just think that in the future he may not be in that top 5 conversation where I think 2 of these guys are going to be elite. So that's my take on that. So and then Tucker Kraft, I love his situation now. I'm not sold on the quarterback. It's evolving, right? And I just like these 2 younger guys coming back from an injury too. So that's how I would break it up.
I'm gonna put my hater blockers on because
And he didn't want Kyle Pitts in this tier either.
I did not.
I mean, I can be. I can somewhat understand.
Wow.
I can understand that a little bit, but just if we're, Harold Fannin has only shown us that he's excellent at football. That was quite literally the worst environment to catch passes in outside of being a Tennessee Titan in recorded history. Like I'm pretty sure
just wait till this year with more talent around him. That's
you know what that leads to? Teams not being able to focus on the dude who finished third in Biletnikoff voting and is one of 9 tight ends to have 700 yards as a rookie since 2000. Like that's just
I'm just not willing to bet on the Cleveland Browns offense to be completely elite. That's my.
Which he was on last year with 106 targets with Shadur Sanders and Dylan.
I know, but they didn't have Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston.
Yeah, and I know those things just make it easier for Harold Fannin to function in the offense.
Shev, one of my big flag plant things was I don't understand why we think that was his cap when he was 100th percentile dominator rating, 19.1-year-old breakout age. He produced every year in college, produces as a rookie, gets 100 targets. Why are we just saying he can't keep going up when that's all he's done ever?
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like I get irrationally horny about just where Harold Fannin is headed.
All right. Well, talk to us about Tucker Kraft then, because he's your flag plant. You obviously want him in that second tier. So, tell us about your flag plant this year and why you think he's going to be so exceptional.
Do you remember the first time that like you had you had beer? Do you remember the first time you took a drag of a cigarette and like that like head rush that comes with it? You remember the time like when you were a little boy and the first time you got wood and you were like, whoa, what is this thing? It does something other than pee. Like those are all the feelings that I feel when I watch Tucker Kraft just play American tackle football. And I have tried really hard to be reasonable about this, but people are making me not be reasonable about it. So I'm going to be loud about it now. I tried being humble, but what works way better is being aware. So I'm aware that Tucker Kraft is that guy. Everything that I said going into last year was true. He was still on pace to go over 1,000 yards on about 85 targets. He was at 5.3 targets a game, and he was the tight end 1 through 8 weeks whenever he got hurt. Now they've gotten rid of Dontavian Wicks. Romeo Doubs left in free agency, and the offense clearly functioned at a much different clip when he was a part of the offense because he was the one tight end last year to go over 14 points a game that lined up at over 50% of the time in line. And that's only going to grow. They're still trying to navigate this whole new normal where they're going to run the offense through Tucker Kraft. Tucker Kraft said he's going to be ready for week 1 against the Minnesota Vikings. I believe him. And they're working on a mega extension to where he could become the highest paid tight end in the NFL. If that is the case, then he will be in that tier but he'll be at the head of the tier to me with Brock, just outside of the Brock Bowers, Trey McBride tier, but he could even get there potentially if he's able to, just stay healthy and play a whole season. If we actually get 7 targets a game, maybe 7.5 targets a game on average for Tucker Kraft, he gets 110, 112. If he gets Harold Fannin volume, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be so erect that I'll be able to hear colors.
He scored in like 5 of 8 games too, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. With his
touchdowns in 8 weeks.
And with his yak ability, like earlier on the show, I compared him to George Kittle. Like I think he is that next monster at the tight end position.
Yes. That's the thing is, a lot of people say he's not as fluid of an athlete. He's 25 pounds heavier. He's 20 pounds heavier than George Kittle. He's a legit 260, and he's out there, just only trailing George Kittle in yards after contact, yards after the catch. He's everything that you want in a tight end. And nobody seems to care anymore because he got hurt last year.
I
Yeah.
care.
I care.
I care. We all care. We care.
You don't care, Mike.
Don't hand us that.
I care a lot.
I'm putting my hater blockers back on.
I was
Mike.
high on Tucker
You were-
Kraft going into last year, just with you, Shev, and I was beating that drum just as loudly. So I just
now-
think there's a couple of
Now Jordan Love is a problem.
He is a problem.
What's the problem with Jordan Love?
I don't know. Mike said that Tucker Kraft has a quarterback problem.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's
To
really
be
more
in the
so.
same tier as Colson, Loveland, and Tyler Warren. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I mean, like he was better than them before he got hurt,
He was.
and they got rid of targets. They didn't add more competition.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, do you just hate Jordan Love? Because I mean, I understand it. He does have a really punchable face.
Yeah.
It's very true.
It's the punchable face. It's the Green Bay Packers situation. There's.
I don't trust a receiver on that.
I don't
team.
trust the coaching staff to just,
No, that is valid. That is.
you know
valid.
what I'm
I believe
saying?
that.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's been true. Like we haven't been able to pick a wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers in years. So all of a sudden we're going to be able to just put all our eggs in one basket. It's a tough situation there. So I love Tucker Kraft. I
Well, I
think
mean,
he's my tight end 5. He is ahead of Fannin for me, to be honest. I just don't think he's in the same tier as Loveland and Warren. That's my argument. That's all I got to say.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't like he. So like when they finally made him a focal point of the offense, he was better than those guys. And now I'm to believe that he's not going to be better than those
Well,
guys.
these are rookies that are coming off of that, right? I mean, Tucker Kraft is now on his year 3, right?
Four.
You put Loveland that just got into that offense in a starting role, and look what he did. What did Tyler Warren come out of the gate and do with Daniel Jones? Tight end 7 points.
It was
per
less.
game.
Yeah, but it was still less points than Tucker Kraft.
And now you got Michael Pittman gone, and you're going to centralize that. So I was high on Warren headed into the process too. So I thought that was an elite tight end class, with Warren and Loveland, and I'm sticking to those guns. So like it's splitting hairs. If we put Tucker Kraft in that tier, I honestly I'd be okay with it. It's Fannin where he was put in before Tucker Kraft. So that was kind of where I needed to really put my guns to the wall. So yeah, I mean, I could put Tucker Kraft in that tier above
I
Fannin.
don't think the order of the tiers matters at all.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
and Shev, that was kind of the argument initially was you have Colson, Loveland, and you have Tyler Warren on what you consider more ascending offenses than the Green Bay Packers. Like I think Tucker Kraft is the focal point of the Packers offense. No argument there for me. Like I'm a Tucker Kraft stan. I think when you look at Dynasty ADP, do we see Tucker Kraft rise up to round 2, round 3, where we see Loveland and Warren go next year? Like I think he's going to be more of a round 4, round 5 guy, which maybe you consider a straight value, but I think it's more of a probability that we see Colson, Loveland, and Tyler Warren move up in the whole community if they come out and have big years. I think that was kind of the tier differentiation for me.
That's fair, and that is valid. The argument for which I really don't feel like I really don't want to feel like I'm defending Tucker. I understand these points. If he comes out and he is the number 1 target in this offense, and it ends up being 100 and 115, 120 targets, that's probably in tight end premium going to be like 18 points a game. Something absurd. Like he'll challenge for what. He'll move from this tier to the tier. You'd have to put him in the tier with Brock Bowers and Colson
for sure,
and Trey McBride
with the yak ability for sure. I mean, he's got all of those things. I'm just worried about that offense being able to sustain that and run enough plays and do what they want to do.
There it is. I wasn't going to bring it up myself because it doesn't work for it works against my argument. But yeah, they ran the least plays of like the last 12 years or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
I mean, live in
it was
Green Bay,
absurd.
where it's cold. So that's a huge thing when half your season home games are played in the cold. Look at Chicago. Like these teams, they change the way they play football when the cold weather hits, especially if they're hosting home games. And that's great for Tucker Kraft and his yak ability, but they don't pass a lot, so he's gonna have to rely on that and not his target share, in my opinion. So elite yak ability, elite, he just finds a way to get open, and no one's even around him. So I love Tucker Kraft. He's my tight end 5, don't get me wrong. And Fannin's my tight end 6. So we're all like in lockstep here. It's just the tiers that caused some tears tonight, and I'm sorry about that, Biggs. I hope you still love
I'm
me.
not crying.
No, I
There's
was
no crying in
I don't need to be
baseball.
told I'm right to know I'm right.
Talk to him. Talk that talk, Biggs.
I love it. I love it, boys.
I want to share this real quick. In the Battle of the Sexes, which uses its best ball, it uses Scott Fishbowl scoring. I drafted Colson, Loveland, and Tyler Warren at the 112 and 2-1, so I understand their tier because McBride and Bowers were gone. I do want to point out that I was able to add Tucker Kraft, Kenyon Sadiq, TJ Hockenson, and Jake Tonges in this best ball league.
You want to hear my tight end battle of the sexes here, because I was able to get Brock Bowers and Colston Loveland and Harold Fannin and Kyle Pitts and Travis Kelce and Rhonda Gadsden and TJ Hockenson and Hunter Henry all in that same format. So on top of Garrett Wilson and George Pickens.
Both of you guys lineup sound so good that I just went sound blind for a second.
Well, if we're just swinging it around, I got Tucker Kraft in a auction draft for less than the cost of a 27-1.
Good Lord. What are people?
One tight end. I
mean, there's a reason that we keep winning all our leagues.
Chev,
Chev, you better put that helmet back on.
My boy, Chev.
I actually don't. I don't have it. It's being shipped to me right now.
Yeah. All right. Shev, we had a great time at the Expo. You helped me draft a auction draft team in the Kings Classic. That was a lot of fun doing it in real time. It was a great meeting in person.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We met in person and we took a picture to prove it. It was great.
And I got a picture of you with a Jamar Chase helmet on in real time
right.
after you got it. It was perfect timing. Just like I got a picture of Biggs with his jersey. You know what? The Dynasty Pulse is final table at the poker tournament every year that we've been representing there. So Schultzy, Mad Dog, where you at, boys? You going to be at the Expo next year playing some poker and representing the Pulse? Because we got to keep this string going here, boys.
Let's get 5 at the final
That's the
table.
plan.
I'm just gonna win it next year so that we can all be at the final table as long as I win. It's fine.
Who won it this year?
This dude named Troy.
Troy Barnes.
Yeah,
he's my boy.
It was either him or me were gonna win it, and we got into a pot, and I did not win that pot, and therefore I did not win the tournament.
He was so nonchalant about telling me about the win. He's like, you know what? I didn't win any good hands all night other than like one big pot, but I went down to the nitty gritty with him, and I was like, oh, please don't tell me it was Shev.
It was.
Like, it was Shev.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, geez.
Oh, yeah. Guess who had to climb? Oh, never mind. I can't curse on this. Never mind.
You can. Curse away, man. Let's hear it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I had to climb Dick Mountain mouth first with that one. It was not ideal.
It was a
10 out of 10. Do not recommend. Yeah, dude, I was so upset, and he's such a nice guy that I had to be cool about it. But I was really hoping it was I really wish it was somebody else so I could say what I really was feeling there. But Troy's such a nice guy.
So nice.
I went to the final table with oh God, I forgot his name. Never mind.
Ronnie Evans,
who is just the loveliest person. And so I didn't want to talk my shit either.
Until he AI'd your ass to winning the tournament, right? He had AI tell you every hand he was in. And
no.
I'm just joking. All right, Biggs, take us home like you do so well.
Well, thank you everybody for watching this episode of Moving the Goalposts. We'll be back with you next week where we will be moving more goalposts. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that stuff. Go to Fantasy Sports Advice Network. Check out the merch store. We got pretty cool merch. Follow us on all of the socials. And if you're new here, thank you for watching. We hope that you stick around, comment, tell us how we're wrong. What I want to see the comment section light up with 50 people telling me how wrong I am about TJ Hockenson, because I need those receipts. And like all the shows, we got so many shows. We grew so much over the last couple months, and we're here for all your needs. Fantasy Sports Advice Network. We help you win.
Help you win, folks. We'll see you next week. Peace out.